So, it's great to be back again for 2017, and great to be able to talk to you about Enterprise Architect 13. As I mentioned, my name's Scott, and I'm going to be your presenter today. So, we'll get started. So, the agenda for today. We're using YouTube Livestream to present this event, so I'm going to introduce YouTube Livestream so people that aren't used to it and are viewing this from the sparxsystems.com website, I can give you a little bit of background. I'm going to show you how to download and install Enterprise Architect 13, because if you're getting started with EA, you might not have installed it yet. And so I can take you through that process. And then we're going to do the Getting Started with Enterprise Architect 13 demo. And as I mentioned, we'll be doing a few things. We'll be looking at creating a mind map, a class diagram, and a use case diagram. And this will help get you started. And at the end, we'll leave about 10 minutes for Q&A, depending how the presentation goes, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions. So, YouTube Livestream. One of the benefits of using YouTube is it's works all around the world. It's a reliable, proven distribution network for video. There's no installation of an executable required, so you can just run it from a website. You can view it from the sparxsystems.com website or the Sparx Systems channel on YouTube. It's helped to simplify the registration process, so you can simply bookmark the URL on the Sparx Systems page, return to that page, and away you go. YouTube live streaming can help create engaging events with improved reliability, and people can watch the videos back time and time again. So it allows you to repeat and watch video. As always, if you have any questions or feedback, please send them through to webinar@sparxsystems.com. Always happy to receive your feedback. The last webinar that Ben did, there was a video on Linux, and we had some feedback saying, oh, would you be able to do a Mac version? And so I started work on that this week. So we really do listen to your feedback, and we try to incorporate it into our future webinars. So please send that through to us. On screen you can see there is the little gear symbol there with HD on it. You can set your desired resolution for your internet connection. Now this particular presentation is being broadcast at 1080p. However, you may wish to change that. I've been told by a couple of our audience members that it defaults and starts at 480p and looks pretty terrible. So one of the first things you might like to do is set the quality, set it to 1080p if your computer can handle that, and that way you'll get the best viewing experience. However, if you're on a small laptop or a mobile device or your internet connection doesn't allow it, one of the benefits of using YouTube is that you can set your desired resolution. So once again, the source footage that I'm presenting today is 1080p. So you can watch a live stream on the YouTube or sparxsystems.com website. You'll be able to type questions to your host using the live chat which comes with YouTube. And so please feel free to send some of that through. You can also email any follow-up questions to webinar@sparxsystems.com, and if we can't answer the questions live, we'll follow up offline and we'll publish it on the sparxsystems.com site. So now what I'd like to do is start the webinar presentation. So Enterprise Architect 13 is a really great product, and it offers a vast array of features. And often it's quite difficult when people are getting started with Enterprise Architect to know where to begin. So Enterprise Architect 13 offers a vast range of features, including visual modeling, the ability to use diagram filters, use case analysis, requirements management, code engineering, execution analysis, software development, data modeling, and so much more. So it really is a very, very powerful tool. However, with so much power and flexibility at your fingertips, new users often ask, where do I start? So this webinar will introduce some of the key features of Enterprise Architect, discussing concepts such as the project browser, the ribbon interface, the toolbox, the quick linker, and the properties dialog box. And we'll take you through all of those. So by the completion of this webinar, I hope you'll see how quickly and easily you can build your own Enterprise Architect model. So what I'd like to do first is to show you the finished product, just so you can understand what we're hoping to achieve today. So on screen we have Enterprise Architect, and the project browser on the left of screen contains 3 packages containing our mind map, our use case, and our class diagram. So first of all, I've opened up the mind map, and it outlines some of the benefits of modeling, discussing key points like collaboration, model-driven design, and traceability. The next diagram we have here is a use case. So we have an actor called a bank customer interacting with withdraw, deposit, and check balance. So 3 use cases. And finally, we have our class diagram where we have a class called account, and it's linked or realized by a use case. I can then bring up the traceability window via the ribbons so that I can see how the use case and the class are connected. So in a few short minutes, you'll be able to create a mind mapping diagram, a use case, a class diagram, and understand traceability and how we can trace some of those elements. So before we can begin building our model, the first thing we need to do is download and install Enterprise Architect. Now what's on screen at the moment is the Enterprise Architect 13 release page. Now I wanted to show you this because it's got lots of videos and links to resources, to white papers that you can download and information. So if you're getting started with Enterprise Architect, it's a great way to learn about some of the product features, to access help, and to help get you started. So at the bottom of the release page or on the registered users section, you can download the registered copy of Enterprise Architect, and you can see that the file is called easetupfull.msi. So you can run that installer by simply double clicking it, and then you can follow the on-screen prompts, which are very quite easy. You can just click next and step through the process in order to install Enterprise Architect. So there's the license agreement and some information. You say where you're going to install the file, but you really do just click next, and it's very, very easy to install Enterprise Architect. So now there's a couple of things to note. When you're logging into the registered user section of the website, you'll be prompted for some credentials. Now I clearly haven't shown that today, and those credentials are provided when you purchase Enterprise Architect. Once the installer has been downloaded and you ran the installer, you can run Enterprise Architect, and probably the very first time you run Enterprise Architect, you'll also be prompted to enter a license key, and that license key is also provided when you purchase Enterprise Architect. Now, one of the common questions that we get through our support channels is, I've downloaded the trial, I've got that running, can I just instantly put my license key into the trial? So you have to uninstall the trial and then install the registered version. So that's why it's easetupfull.msi. So there's a couple of tips for newcomers. When you purchase Enterprise Architect, you'll get your license key and you'll get credentials to be able to download for 12 months the most up-to-date install of Enterprise Architect. And yes, you'll need to enter your license key. So, when you launch Enterprise Architect, all of your recent projects can be instantly accessed from the Manage Projects dialog. From the local file menu, select New Project. Provide a suitable name, such as Getting Started with EA13, and you'll note that all of the files that we're using today have an extension of .eap, which stands for Enterprise Architect Project. So when you create a new project, Enterprise Architect automatically launches Model Wizard, which provides patterns from a wide range of technologies that can be used to quickly generate functional new models for your project. For this banking example, select a class diagram, a use case, and a mind map. The core modeling technology section contains our UML diagrams, while the business technology section contains a mind mapping technology that we're going to use today. So when you've selected your model patterns, press OK to continue. So one of the great things about that is that Enterprise Architect, you simply click a few checkboxes and it creates packages for you, creates the diagrams, all based on templates, and it does a lot of the work. So with just a few button clicks, you can be up and running and you can have a model created for you. But we're obviously going to adapt this model. So Enterprise Architect is now build a model based on patterns that you've selected, storing the relevant files in the project browser, which can be seen on the left of screen. So the project browser is a primary tool for structuring and navigating your model. One of the key structural elements is called a package, which is used to store diagrams, packages, and other model elements. Looking at our use case package, we can use the diagram to quickly access actors within our use case model. To change a model element, we can bring up the element properties using the context menu or the keyboard combination of Alt-Enter. So from the properties menu, we can name an element, edit notes, add various properties such as keywords, the author's name, status, and a version number. So when you open a diagram, the toolbox automatically provides the element and the relationship pages corresponding to that diagram type. So you can see here we have actors, use cases, test cases, and so forth. Now I'm using a text element to create a heading, and I find headings are very helpful when we headings make it much easier to identify and move between the various diagrams, especially when you're working with large models. And you'll notice that under the layout ribbon I have used a style called heading/bold 16. So that's the font size and the formatting that I've applied. And throughout this webinar, I'm going to constantly use that style on all of my headings to maintain consistency within my diagram. And makes the model look much better. So I can also use the toolbox to add an additional actor. For example, a bank teller will also need to interact with our banking system. So I'll use the layout ribbon to help neaten the elements on my diagram. And I find the alignment tools are particularly helpful, and I use them nearly every day when I'm working with Enterprise Architect. So the next thing I want to do is have a look at the use case. So a use case describes how a user, be it a human or a machine, interacts with the system in order to accomplish a particular goal. In our example, we have two actors representing a teller and a bank customer. Enterprise Architect has automatically created the diagram we see on screen. So I'm going to update the system so that it reads banking system. So what we've done here is we've just taken our default template and I've simply renamed the system boundary. So that's the line around the outside of the use case. So I've updated the name of the system boundary, making it clear that the customer is interacting with a banking system. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to change the name of our two use cases. So I'm going to change the name of the first use case to withdraw and the second use case to read deposit. We can use the toolbox to add an additional use case. So the first two were created by default in the template, allowing the customer to check their account balance. So finally, I'll tidy up the diagram, add an appropriate heading, and make the appropriate changes. So what's important to see here is that in, let's say, 30 to 60 seconds, we've been able to use a template to create a use case with 3 use cases, 2 actors, and we've been able to establish relationships. So if you've been following along the instructions as I go along, we've now successfully created a use case diagram in Enterprise Architect, and along the way we've learned about the toolbox, project browser, and the properties dialog box for providing properties. We've created a few headings and created multiple diagrams and navigated between them using the project browser. Now, as well as the project browser, you can also use find in. So I've selected the actor, use the context menu, and I can find any element in the project browser. And that allows us to instantly see where elements appear in the project browser. You can also find an element in all diagrams. For example, our actor called Bank Customer appears in 3 separate diagrams. 2 of those are use case diagrams, while the other is a sequence diagram. So the concept of element reuse can help save time and money. So one element could appear on hundreds and hundreds of different diagrams throughout your model. If you update or change that one element, those changes are instantly reflected anywhere in the model where that element has been used. So this most certainly saves time and helps you to just make the changes once, and it can be reflected on lots and lots of diagrams. So this is where a modeling tool such as Enterprise Architect offers tremendous advantages over a traditional drawing tool, because it facilitates reuse, collaboration between different members of the team, and it also offers traceability, so you can find an element and see how that is linked to other elements in your model. So now that we've done our use case, let's have a look at our class diagram. So the default template provides a sample class diagram with a few different classes and relationships. However, I'm going to focus on a single class to help simplify the example. Now you'll note that when I delete elements from a diagram, it does not automatically delete those items from the project browser. So I'll now remove those elements from the project browser to ensure that any children of those elements in the model are also deleted. Using the toolbox, I'll place a class on the diagram. I'll name that class account. After labeling the diagram, I need to add attributes and operations to my class. Now, I use Control-Shift F9 to automatically add attributes, but alternatively, you can simply use the context menu if you can't remember that keyboard shortcut. I'm going to add a name and type for each relevant attribute from my account class. So the account type will be a char or a character type. Other languages might refer to it as a string. So in no time at all, we can very quickly add a number of attributes, including the account type, the name, balance, account number, and a date of birth, which can be used to authenticate the account holder. So just like we've used Control-Shift F9 in order to add an attribute, we can also add operations. And to do this, we use Control-Shift F10. Or once again, if you can't remember the keyboard shortcut, you can use the context menu to add an operation. So a number of operations may need to be performed on our account. So we can add an operation to withdraw funds, to deposit funds, to check the balance, and to calculate the interest. So once again, this is quite easy, just like adding a little bit of text. We can also set the return types and the scope for each operation. So what we're doing is we're slowly building up a model of our class system. Now, I just wanted to pause briefly to say, there might be people out there that say, oh, your account perhaps should use a password, or your account should, have this element or that element. And I think it raises a really good point about Enterprise Architect, is that sometimes you create a model, and one of the reasons you create that model is to get feedback from other members of the team, so you can improve your requirements, you can improve your design, and you can improve the quality of your software. And I think by creating a visual model that everybody can share and everybody can contribute to, helps to produce better solutions. So if you're sitting there saying, I think this account class should have this, and I think Scott could have done something better here, I think it's one of the benefits of having Enterprise Architect is you get people to then contribute and provide feedback, sometimes via model mail, sometimes via comments on an element, in order to improve the overall design. So one of the advantages of modelling solutions is that it does get the team to communicate about design, collaborate on outcomes, and improve the quality of solutions. These kinds of functional requirements can be discussed and documented in a requirements diagram, further refining the model to produce a better solution. So Enterprise Architect can be used to establish links or connections between various model elements, such as showing how a class can realize a given use case. So I'm going to get check balance, put it on screen, and create a relationship between my class and my use case. So looking at the properties of our class, you'll note that we can see a number of different programming languages are supported: C, C#, Java, PHP, etc. So Enterprise Architect certainly does allow you to develop models for a number of different programming languages. So we've had a look at a use case model and a class model. The next thing I want to do is have a look at our mind map. So I open the mind mapping diagram in the package entitled Mind Mapping View in the project browser. Now you can see the default template has produced a small mind map with a central topic which branches out to various other topics. You can use the properties dialog to label each element in the mind map, helping to link information. You can group topics according to node color or their location on the mind map. You can use a toolbox or a spacebar to quickly add additional topics to build up a map of your ideas and their various connections. So mind mapping offers a flexible visual notation to convey information and share ideas in a creative manner. Typically they're used for studying or collaborative discussions, problem solving, brainstorming, or for presenting complex ideas and decision making. Using this non-linear approach allows the information to be interpreted in many ways, producing unique and innovative solutions. Anyone that's seen some of our webinars in the past know that Ben and I will often use mind maps to help present the ideas that are going to be covered in an upcoming webinar. So we use it all the time. I've seen lots of people use mind maps to collate information during a meeting, and they sometimes switch to that list view and just quickly jot down a whole lot of ideas and then group and sort information to help provide some context. And so a mind mapping diagram is ideal for organising your thoughts, planning meetings, and visualising relationships. I'm going to lay out the model in a circular fashion with a central topic in the middle of the diagram, and then I'm going to adjust the connectors to be curved to make the diagram look quite nice. So this mind mapping approach allows you to tell a story really quickly and to present information in a nice visual format on screen. Now, in addition to being able to create a mind map, we can also add diagrams and visual elements and pictures. I'm going to delete some of the notes and add a heading. Now you'll notice there's a little star up the top, and if I press Control S or hit save, I can save my diagram. Now I want to add a traceability diagram here, and I want to have a picture to show what traceability diagram is. But I don't think that particular node helps explain what it is. So what I can do is I can use an alternative image. So I'm going to use the context menu, go to Appearance and say select alternative image. Now I've uploaded this traceability_sm, a PNG file, and I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to hide the label, but that's how easy it is to bring pictures in. So not only can you have text and links, but you can also have a range of pictures. So before I get on to the Q&A session today, as always, in a webinar, we've got a lot to get through in a short amount of time. So today I've shown you the project browser, the quick linker. I've shown you how to create a use case, a class diagram, and a mind mapping diagram. And we've used a quick linker. We've established links between a class and a use case. But the nice thing is, because we've used patterns, we really have been able to rapidly build up models in a very, very short period of time. So I'm just having a look at some of the questions. So we've got some questions coming in about what version we're using. So we're using Enterprise Architect 13. And we've had some questions about how can you find out more about using Enterprise Architect, and perhaps learning a little bit more about UML. So on the Sparx Systems website, if you click on version 13, that allows you to get to the release page that I showed earlier, and that has a number of different tools. Under the resources section, there are a number of different PDF libraries that you can download. There's a number of tutorials and demo videos. You can access the library of webinars that we've had in the past, and that should be quite beneficial as well. I've had a question saying, could you just show me the mind mapping diagram a little more? So I might just what I'll do is before I wrap up, I'll just bring up our mind mapping diagram. So here's the diagrams that I've created. Here's our mind mapping diagram. And so as you can see, we've got modeling in Enterprise Architect, and some of the benefits of modeling include the ability to collaborate, to manage, allows you to design. And when you're designing, you can learn from your mistakes, you can experiment, and you can compare options. And of course, I mentioned before that you can collaborate and use things like Model Mail and other communication tools to get feedback on your designs. You can construct and deploy. You've got model-driven design, so you can create one abstract representation and create multiple outcomes. And you also have traceability, so you can trace from a requirement or use case right down to the deployment of an object. So Ronald has asked a question saying, I'm interested in how to import data into Enterprise Architect 13. So within Enterprise Architect 13, you can import XMI data. You saw before I brought up I went view as a list. So here you can import data, straight from spreadsheets. You can import from Word documents, and you can copy Word documents in. You can import XMI files, so you can take an entire structure of a model. And we also have links to being able to import from tools such as Visio and Microsoft Office, and we've done some webinars on those in the on how you do some of that import. Chloe had a question about what's the public price. One of the nice things is if we go to our website and we go to the home page, you've got here buy now, and so all the prices are listed. So the corporate edition starts at $239, desktop $135. These are all in US dollars, and the suite editions are listed there. Now today, everything I've covered has been simple UML diagrams, and most of it is available in the desktop edition. However, you should have a look at the compare editions page, and if you want to know how to do that, you can just do a search for compare editions, and that will give you an indication of all the different features and what version they're in. So I am conscious of not running over time, but if people have more questions, please feel free to send them in, and we'll follow up on them. And it's been a great pleasure to talk to you again, and welcome you to 2017 with our new webinar series. Once again, if you get a chance, send any feedback to webinar@sparxsystems.com, and we'd be happy to take on your suggestions and ideas for future webinar topics. The next webinar coming up, we're probably going to look at installing Enterprise Architect on a Mac, and we also have a number of very interesting webinars coming up, looking at some new technology which we're really looking forward to. So that's it from me today. I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance. It's been great talking to you. It's great to see so many questions come in, and to get some interaction from the audience, and look forward to another year full of exciting webinars, and talking to you about Enterprise Architect and some of the many features that Enterprise Architect has to offer. So have a lovely day, and look forward to seeing you again soon sometime.